What's going on there, ladies and gentlemen? I'm just lost. No, not really. Pretty wide awake. Watching the things transpire on this earth is tiresome. My daughter made that. Glows in the dark. I'm thankful for her, to have her in my life. It's one of the few things I'm thankful for. Like, when it comes to people, everything else seems to have strings attached. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm even on here. Don't know if I'll post this or not. Just had one of them days, where you ever feel like you're getting ahead and then all of a sudden, wham! Nah. That was just a false epiphany. So, anyway, guess what I want to say is, be thankful in all circumstances isn't so easy. And, although I am thankful, the hardships that we have to go through while in this tent. Where's your heart at? Everybody's hardships are different. This we know. The Lord knows what we can handle. Obviously, because I'm still here. I'm a living, walking testimony of God's strength, because I haven't outed myself. And boy howdy, my life has been a hardship. Most of what I created myself from the time I was a teenager, well into my adult years. I'm thankful that God gave me a conscience, finally. Some people don't ever gain a conscience. That a lot of people were born with one, but I wasn't born with a conscience. I didn't take into account how other people feel, how I could make other people feel by my actions, how I could make somebody feel by the things that I do. It was never a thought in my mind how what I do affects other people, what I say affects other people. So whenever I do slip in these things now, I find myself beating myself up the more because of it. There are people out there that are like I was, and they will never know what it's like to have a conscience, because they won't give their life to Christ. Though many come before them and present it to them for them to grab a hold of, they still will not do it. And that to me is a sad thing, because I am so thankful to have a conscience. I'm so thankful to be able to help people when I can. It makes me feel good. It gives me joy when I help other people, not looking for anything in return. At times, though, it takes me to a place of despair. Not that I don't have faith that God is going to provide for me and my family, but it is the world we live in that when you feel like you're not going to be able to provide in certain ways, or pay your bills, or do the things that you need to do, you find yourself in a state of despair or depression or frustration or stress, which all those other ones pertain to the latter, stress. It's a wonder I haven't had a heart attack. The amounts of stress that I've endured in my lifetime. Some of what I've brought upon myself because of my choices. And in actuality, I brought mostly all of it on myself because of my choices in one way or the other. Whether I was wrong or I wasn't wrong or whatever, because had I not made bad choices in the first place early on, it wouldn't have gave room for other things to happen in my life, whether I was at fault or not. Does that make sense? Let me paint a picture for you. A man goes out or a woman goes out and they obtain a felony. Or maybe 5 felonies. Maybe 7. Whatever. Then on the brink of them changing for the rest of their future, they didn't do something, but they were found at fault for it because they already had a past of being a certain way. Does that make sense? Because that's exactly my life in a nutshell. And therefore, it brought about other things. I'm on probation now for felon with a firearm for merely protecting my family after being shot at. But had I had no felonies, I'd have never got charged with that charge. Though I was doing what any head of the household protector would have done for their families. But this is the world we live in. I find myself with lots of stress due to the fact that because of where I've been and what I've gone through in my lifetime, I obtained certain mental issues due to the fact of the places that I've been and what it's done to me mentally. If it was to all go away right now, and yes, thanks be to God for who I am and the man that I am today. Thank you, Father. Nonetheless, the damage is done. if my life was to completely change, I'd get exonerated or expungement on my record. The damage is already done here, and I probably still wouldn't be able to cope normally. If that makes any sense to you. It makes perfect sense to me. I have a parent now who loves me and you, your parent too, your creator and my creator, our parent, that loves you more than any earthly parent could ever love you, because he is love. What would it hurt for you to believe in something that you cannot see but is very real, more real than anything you've ever experienced in this tent? Because I've experienced it for 13 years out here now, and for 5.5 years of my life imprisoned, because I gave my life to Christ in 2006 wholeheartedly. I did not change completely right away like Saul on the way to Damascus, who became Paul. But it has happened. And I will never be the same. Because I have a conscience that I was allowed to have after being incarcerated in my first month in 2006. God gave me a conscience. I had started to see it happening before then. I had in 2004. Yep. I had just done time for a crime I didn't do in Nevada, Reno, Nevada. I got charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. But I didn't have a weapon. That weapon was pulled on me. I defended myself, and I got charged with that weapon. Well, actually, not with that weapon. I had a Leatherman on my side, and I got charged with it as the weapon. Anyway, I've been charged twice in my lifetime for things I haven't done. Anyway, I had just gotten out of jail from Reno, and my mom got me a bus ticket from Reno to Santa Fe. And so I was living in Santa Fe, and I got back on drugs, and I went to a bar one night, and I got drunk, and I was leaving the bar, and I was stumbling down the sidewalk, leaning on vehicles, and I happened to lean on a Toyota 4Runner. Well, I looked in the window, and there was a purse there. I checked the door, it was unlocked. So I opened the door, I grabbed the purse, and I ran down the sidewalk. I got down to the corner of this brick fence on the corner of a yard. I scrunched down, I started going through the purse. And as I was going through the purse, I found the keys to the vehicle in the purse. But I also happened to notice pictures in the person's wallet. It was a lady, and all I was seeing was a lady and 2 kids. And I had that embedded. I threw it down. I had that embedded in my head. I ran back to the Toyota. I got in it, I started it, and I stole it. This image of this woman and her 2 children, and all through the pictures, there was never a male figure in these pictures. And yes, this is some testimony. So, the girl that I was dating at the time, we kept this truck we had it about a week. And it was so heavy on my mind. This is the first time I ever had a conscience. It was so heavy on my mind that I told the girl, I said, we got to take this truck back. You talk about a duh moment on somebody's face that had known me for a while. They were like, what? That's what she said. She said, what? I said, and I told her, I said, when I was going through the lady's purse, all I seen in her photos was her and 2 kids. Her and 2 kids. I never seen a man. This is probably her only vehicle. This girl is looking at me like she had seen a ghost. And anyway, she tried to talk me out of it. Finally, I talked her into, we went and took the truck and we parked it in this apartment complex parking lot. Not where I got the truck, in a different place. About a week after we did that, she talked me into going back to see if the truck was there. So now we're running on 2 weeks that this truck was stolen. It was there. So we got in it. We drove to Albuquerque. We drove it back to Santa Fe. And the whole time, this is just weighing on me. Weighing on me like a ton of bricks, man. So I ended up, we didn't take it back. We ended up parking at this restaurant for a minute, and we walked across the street. Well, actually, my girlfriend walked across the street to get some clothes. I walked down the street to the gas station down the street. And when I was walking back, she had already gotten back to the truck. I didn't know that at this time. When I was walking back, the cops were there. They were putting the truck on a tow, pulling it up on a tow truck. So I just kept walking. Come to find out, they took her to jail because her backpack was in the truck with all her documentation in it. I had no documentation. So anyway, I ended up bailing her out of jail. And she took the hit on that truck, which played another hard hit on my conscience that I never had before. So anyway, we ended up breaking up, and I ended up getting back with my ex. And long story short, that was the first time I'd ever experienced conscience for somebody else's well-being. Well, it wasn't too long after that, my son was born. And I was charged with a charge that I didn't commit. which I ended up doing time for. And I lost my wife. She ended up being my wife. We ended up having 2 kids. While I was in jail, my wife got back on drugs and or stayed on drugs. We were already on drugs. And anyway, I ended up losing my first wife and my 2 children for a crime that I didn't commit. Although I don't I don't believe that it wasn't God's will for that to happen, because it changed me even more. It changed me dramatically. Dramatically. So dramatically that while I was in prison, I played drums for the church band and actually gave 2 sermons, one being on homosexuality. But anyway, I just wanted to share something because I don't do real well out in the open with stuff. And I give little pieces of testimony here and there. And I need to, because it reminds me and it shows you guys what God can do and that He is real. And I'm walking, living proof of that. Am I perfect? No, not by any means. Has He changed me into a perfect man? No. Still have issues that I deal with and I pray about and I ask God to take from me, and He still doesn't. For His own reasons, I'm sure. But I am thankful. I am thankful to be a better man today than I was 18 years ago. Almost going on 18 and a half years. With that being said, man, you guys have a great day. God over everything. Jesus is my King. Take it to the Word. Take it to the Word. If you don't understand, pray the Holy Spirit to give you understanding, to give you discernment of His Word and understanding of it, that you may be more like Christ.